Growing up, I never thought I'd have a deep-seated fear of dolls. I mean, they're just toys, right? Innocent and sweet, they're meant to bring joy to children. But my perspective on dolls changed dramatically due to a series of eerie events that still haunt me today. If you've ever wondered why some people find dolls so terrifying, let me take you through my unsettling journey. It all began with a seemingly harmless gift from my grandmother. She was an avid collector of antiques and gave me a porcelain doll as a birthday present. At first glance, it was charming. Delicate features, a frilly dress, and a smile that seemed to radiate warmth, but something about it unsettled me from the start. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but its glassy eyes seemed to follow me around the room. My parents dismissed my discomfort as childish imagination. "It's just a doll," they said, "there's nothing to worry about." So, I tried to ignore my unease and kept the doll on a shelf in my room. That's when things started to get weird. One night, I woke up to find the porcelain doll on the floor. It was a strange sight, considering I had placed it securely on the shelf the night before. I picked it up, placed it back on the shelf, and tried to brush it off as a fluke, but the next night, the same thing happened. The doll was on the floor again, and this time, it seemed to be positioned in a way that suggested it was watching me sleep. I tried to convince myself that it was just a coincidence or perhaps a result of my own clumsiness, but the occurrences continued, each time more unsettling than the last. My parents were not convinced, and they chalked it up to my active imagination. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. My fear of dolls intensified after a visit to a friend's house. She was a collector of antique dolls, and her collection was extensive, over 100 dolls, all meticulously arranged in a spare room. The room itself felt like a shrine to the past, and as soon as I stepped inside, a chill ran down my spine. The atmosphere was stifling, and an eerie silence enveloped us. We chatted for a while, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Later that night, as I tried to sleep, I heard a faint scratching sound coming from the room with the dolls. It was like tiny footsteps scurrying across the floor. I mustered the courage to investigate. When I turned on the light, I saw that one of the dolls had fallen from its place on the shelf. It was now lying face down on the floor. I picked it up, trying to convince myself that it was simply a prank or an unfortunate accident, but the fear was too strong, and I couldn't sleep the rest of the night. Before I continue, if you're enjoying this story and want to hear more creepy experiences, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button if you're fascinated by the eerie and unsettling, and drop a comment below with your own experiences or thoughts on why dolls are so terrifying. Your support helps me create more content like this. The more I encountered these unsettling experiences, the more I learned about the psychology behind my fear. It turns out that dolls often evoke what psychologists call the uncanny valley effect. They look almost human, but not quite. This subtle difference triggers a sense of unease and discomfort. When you add elements of folklore and horror stories, it's no wonder that dolls can become so frightening. I also came across stories and documentaries about haunted dolls and their sinister legends. It's easy to see how these tales can amplify our fears. After all, dolls are meant to be lifelike, and when they move or act in ways that defy logic, they become symbols of our deepest anxieties about the unknown and the supernatural. So why am I still afraid of dolls? It's a combination of personal experiences and psychological triggers. The way they seem to come alive, combined with their almost human appearance, taps into a primal fear of the unknown. Even though I know intellectually that dolls are just inanimate objects, the experiences I've had make it hard to shake the fear. If you've ever had a similar experience or find yourself creeped out by dolls, you're not alone. Sometimes, the things we think are harmless can become the most frightening when combined with the power of imagination and personal experiences. Feel free to share your own doll-related stories in the comments. I'd love to hear if others have had similar experiences, or if you have any insights into why dolls can be so terrifying.